Hello, superstars! Let's get started with the Norwood News newsletter for the edition for today, Friday, January 22nd, 2021. And as always, we'd like to kick things off with some important dates that we have coming up. So for Tuesday, January 26th, the Return to Schools Questionnaire closes, and we'll talk about that in a moment. On Tuesday, January 26th, also is our next installment of Norwood Bedtime Stories. Also, we will go into some more details below. Wednesday, January 27th is an asynchronous day for students, meaning that they work independently that day. There's no live classes unless there's an arranged special help session that they already are set to have. Wednesday, January 27th is our next coffee and conversation, which is going to be talking about helping my family during a pandemic, how to better help your family and forge better connections during the winter time and the pandemic. And Tuesday, February 2nd is going to be the following installment for the Norwood Bedtime Stories. Now let's get right into this return to school questionnaire. I know that this seems like overkill. Many of you already received this survey in which you had to briefly, within a few questions, decide your preference for that. Should schools reopen, what do you want to do? To send your children in if they are able to go in, or do you want to keep them at home? We realize this is a very important and personal decision for every family. Even if you have already filled this out, we need you to fill it out again. I'm really sorry that this might be redundant, but we need to do that because things have been changing so much so quickly. Between the rising incidences of the virus not too long ago, the struggle to get that under control, the vaccine distribution and rollout, and then they've changed their priority of who's getting the vaccines in the state and also by county within Maryland. Now they are prioritizing staff. Governor Hogan just announced the other day that he would like schools to open by March 1st, but it is up to the district still to decide when. So please do not fall into the trap of thinking that it has already been decided. The school officials are still working on that. There is no set date, but they are thinking about this and they are trying to move towards it, and they would like your preferences for your family to be honored. If you do not fill out this survey this time for each one of your children, so you do it once for every child in BCPS, you will have that choice taken away. You will have your students automatically enrolled in virtual learning full time, regardless of whether you wanted them in the schools or not. We don't want that to happen, whether by mistake or by miscommunication, so please fill out this survey. It is extremely important. Make sure to spread the word to make sure that all the parents and other families that are your children's friends know about this. This is extremely important. Regardless if they did it before, it won't matter. We want them to fill it out this most recent time because many people's ideas may have changed in light of recent events. So that is just the most important thing that we can hit home about that. Now, moving on to student device reimaging. There is no new news with this, so it's the same link where if you go to the page, it hasn't updated. It doesn't even have the most up-to-date dates. So this information is changing as well. And again, this only applies to children who have who do not have Chromebooks, who have Windows-based devices, primarily HPs. Now, one thing that we will mention is that we have added an extra little piece of information for those who do have Chromebooks. If you have been on the wait list to receive a computer because it's either malfunctioned or you don't have one, and you've been on that wait list for some time, we do have a new batch of computers arriving to the school soon. We don't know how soon, but that'll be soon. Depending on the demand, it may be that even if you're on the list, you may not get one still, just depending on how many people need these computers. They may not be enough to go around. So there is another option you can look into. It's not school sanctioned, but you are still free to look into it yourself. The Baltimore County Public Library System, in addition to hotspots, also have Chromebooks that you can check out if you are a card-carrying member of the library. If you have a full account as a parent, as an adult, it cannot be a student account, it cannot be a virtual account. It has to be a full card-carrying account. So if you have that, or if you want to fill out an account to be able to do this, that is totally fine. They can do that. Just apply to the library, go online. But you will be responsible for any losses and damages incurred, and that's several $100s. So you just have to be aware and think about this, because the other caveat is that it won't have Go Gardening, it won't have YouTube blocked. So depending on your child's maturity and organization level, this may not be a good idea if they are able to be so easily distracted doing other things while in class. So families can decide this, but it is under your name, the adult. So regardless of what happens to it under your child's use for school, you will be responsible for anything that happens to this Chromebook. They are valuable. So if you feel that that might work for you, you can look into this. If you have questions, either call your local library branch to ask more about this, or call me or email me. I have my information here, and I'll include that in the description of this video. You can reach out to me, David Castro, your school to community coordinator for Norwood, and we can go more in depth about what this whole process entails. But basically, you can just search for it by keywords in the library catalog and check it out like a book. And you can renew it as well, just like a hotspot. So very good resources from the library. The next installment of Bedtime Stories for All. First, let's give a big thank you for Miss Spencer, Miss Long, and Miss Schaefer for lending their voices to the previous session. The kids are getting a huge kick out of this, and so we want to just continue to invite your children to join us to read some really fabulous stories. And the next readers that have been selected are going to be Miss Schwartz, Miss Highland, and Miss Cooper. As always, they can join by connecting via Google Meet using the code Norwood Stories. That's all together, Norwood Stories, no spaces. The next January Coffee and Conversation is going to take place on Wednesday, January 27th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. You may have participated. There were a few families that did this topic in December, but because of the ransomware and attack and our platform difficulties, we want to just repeat it just so that we give everyone a chance to really, this is a really important topic. If you find that your children are struggling with transitioning and being in one space and not being able to go out because it's cold and then also the pandemic, there are some interesting techniques and activities that this does to help not only fortify the bonds that you have as a family and to improve your togetherness, but also to help them to have a wonderful start to their day, to get their brains going, to be active, and also to get out a lot of that energy that they need to normally expel by being out and interacting with other students. So there's really good techniques and topics in here that you may want to check out. It's going to be from 9:30 to 10:30, and you connect using your child's computer since it's a Wednesday, and just use the code Norwood Families. It's all together, no spaces, Norwood Families. If you're not aware what the Southeast Area Education Advisory Council is and what their meetings are, every month they have a topic that they discuss and they gather input from the community and they take it up to the Board of Education. So this is really important. It's a way to get your voices heard as stakeholders. As families and students, you all are part stakeholders into the schools and what they do and policies. So they have different zones throughout the county, and we are in the Southeast area zone naturally. And so the next meeting that's happening in January, it's going on Monday, January 25th, is going to be about safety protocols for returning to school. So again, this is a continuing theme. There's more serious discussions happening about returning to school. And if you want to know about what things they are discussing for safety protocols, and if you want to lend your voice and share some ideas, this is the time to join this meeting. So it's by Zoom. It is not by Google Meet. We have included here a short link so that you can click on the link and with the meeting ID and the password, copy and paste that information when asked. Even if you don't have Zoom installed on your app, on a phone, or as a program on your computer, you can just click on the link and there's an option normally to be able to continue through a web browser. So it takes up a little more resources on your computer, but it is very possible to do. And then you just type in the information. So that would be very helpful for any of you who want to partake in that discussion. And if you want to become a member or you're interested in the other topics, reach out to Jackie Brewster, and her information is included in the flyer that is attached here as an image. Internet solutions for those in need. We've been going over and over and over with this, and there has been a slight change. Everything else is practically the same with this flyer that talks about the different resources that are community-based that you can look into, like hotspots and how to get internet for low-income families. The only change to this is that there is no longer a free 6 months internet giveaway from Baltimore County Public Libraries. That has ended. That was for December, and the window has closed. So if you see that mentioned, I apologize. We have been scrambling to update a lot of information, but just know that there is no longer an ability to go there in person to apply for free 6 months worth of internet. The Comcast Internet Central Plan is still something that you can apply for whether you have Comcast or not. We still have the interactive maps of public Wi-Fi hotspots that you can search by zip code or address, and you can still get hotspots from the local library. So there are still a lot of those other options available. Please contact me, David Castro. My information is included here. or you can reach out to the school or the local library if you have any questions about any of the information contained within this flyer. And lastly, we have repeating once again the message from the school counselor, Ms. Powell, about the curriculum for counseling courses that have been switched. And so if you want to know more about what was the big idea about these specific counseling courses, they're basically about how students, younger students especially, can be a little more proactive and involved in their personal safety, so they can just be more aware of situations that they might to be they could benefit to be more aware about. And so this is just part of the curriculum to help everyone make healthy decisions for themselves and for their community. And so if you want to know more about this, just read the letter that she has included. She has included also her contact information. You can always reach out to her directly if you had any questions. That is it for this week. We hope everyone has a fantastic week ahead of them and weekend. And please stay safe, stay sane, and keep on learning.